Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly DLC. I'm one of your hosts, Krosh, joined always by my co-host, Daniel Vargas.
Bow, bow.
And Daniel Jang.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
And if you're not familiar with what we do, blah, 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 we come to you every week.
We created Jurassic Park.
Podcasting services of your choice. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on Pocket Cast. We're on Google Play. We're on Stitcher. We're on it.
Spotify.
It's the first one I said.
Oh, my bad.
I thought you were fucking with me. I was like, and we come to you every Monday. We sit around a table. We usually talk about nerdy stuff.
Every Monday?
Every Monday. On Monday. Every Monday. This is live. We're doing live right now. We're recording a little early. It's about to head into the Thanksgiving holidays, and
we got to
trying to get ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. Guys, how have you been?
Pokemon. Oh, I mean, I've been good.
Pokemon.
Finally, something we can talk about.
A game I haven't picked up.
Yeah, that's true.
I started my 3-day week since we last recorded with They Will Come For Us.
The Night Comes For Us.
The
movie I was telling you about?
Of the Round Table Come For Us. Yes, that movie.
And like many other things that I like,
I shit on it.
You come at it with a different perspective.
I do me. Okay. Overall, the movie is good. I enjoyed it, but like the fighting, I feel like they missed the mark on that.
Okay.
Other than that, I would really recommend the movie. But again, it is very gory.
Temper expectations.
Very gory.
Yeah.
Very, very.
I think that helps knowing that this is gory because I did not go in knowing it was gory. I was like, oh, it's like the raid. Fuck
yeah.
you.
You talked about like the arm thing, and I was like,
the girl fight. There was
bad.
like the two girls versus one girl. That was to me was badass.
2 girls, 1 girl.
Mm-hmm. And then I forgot to mention. There's this one guy who's not like a main guy. I was talking about how there's like, you think they're just gonna go. Mm-hmm. It was the bearded guy with the slip sign.
Oh yeah.
He would not die. Like
He was Mad Dog.
No,
he was a tank.
He's like mad dog.
He's a tank.
Yeah, he aggroed a lot.
It's funny too because like there's a part where one of the main characters talks to this little girl, and she's like, "Yeah, uncle," and the dude with this sign.
He looked like an Indonesian Mad Nicholson,
and he goes like, "He's very strong," and he's like, "Yeah." It's funny.
It was crazy.
But yeah, really good movie. It's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, it's a, and you like action,
and you're okay with that level of violence.
And you're okay with the level of, yeah, you know, like you had said there was guts. So I'm like, there's no guts, and then guts.
The shit they do,
so ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. And it's crazy because Castlevania has that same level of like visual violence, but it's a cartoon.
It's funny too because the actor the one that's from the raid that's in this one.
There's 2.
The main character in the raid.
Tony Jaa?
Okay,
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
No, it's not Tony Jaa.
The antagonist.
Yeah. I was like, dude, as I was watching the movie, I'm thinking this is going to be a very good movie for this guy to finally like break his heroic vision and go into
something else,
like a villainous state probably,
yeah,
or something else. And watching the movie, I was like, it's not a good. I feel like I wouldn't put this on my resume if I wanted to break this idea that I was always a heroic.
He wasn't heroic though.
No, but in previous movies, I'm saying no. When I see him, I think he plays movies where he's nothing and he builds himself up, but becomes a good person. Okay. And this movie, he's the opposite. He's turning into a bad guy essentially.
Yeah, that's his character.
No, right. But I'm saying like it's not. It doesn't portray it very well. Like it doesn't do it justice because it doesn't let him shine. Yeah, it didn't hit the mark.
I thought his last fight he kind of shined. That was like where like up until that point he's sort of just like around.
Yeah.
And I'm like I'm waiting for something to happen, and nothing happened, and then
it slowly shows you that he's a badass essentially. And in this last scene, it shows like no, he is a badass, but there's still a story to it, and I don't feel like the story did him justice.
I feel like if anything, what you're saying, you were hoping to see that for that guy. I saw with the other guy.
Yeah.
The other guy has been in, I think he was in Fast and the Furious, the last one, and then he was in The Raid, and then he was in some other movie. Just like not the main part, but always like there.
Yeah.
This one, I was like, fuck yeah, I want to see more with this guy. He's another big like martial arts star.
I would say that the main character from The Raid was a supporting character in this one.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it wasn't a focusing on him.
Yeah.
But I guess I had my eyes focused on him.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy that I was seeing, and I'm like, oh, he's playing a different role than he normally does.
You're right. Yeah.
But I don't feel like this movie hit the mark for him for breaking that role he normally plays. Other than that, what else did I do? Very, very, very closely bought Pokemon Go just to farm shinies. Good thing I didn't.
We got that covered.
Don't buy Pokemon Go. We got it covered already.
Yeah, there's enough people buying Pokemon Go. You don't need to contribute.
But yeah, you saw me. I was watching this guy named A Drive, which I don't know what time you saw it, but he plays in the morning, 8 hours.
Oh, I was
and
he
has there's a total of 3 people that rotate 8-hour shifts. Damn. Or 3 or 4 people. So it's his channel, but he has different people rotate throughout the channel. So the channel's playing 24/7.
Oh,
jeez.
So yeah, he's got like a good setup going, and everyone. I don't know if they play his account.
Okay.
And every shiny goes to him essentially. But yeah, he's done this for a very long time. All the previous games, and every time he catches a shiny, he has a video of when he caught it, his reaction.
Oh, okay. He clips it.
Yeah, he clips it. He has videos how to catch shinies. So I saw how to catch like shinies here, and he talks about like the catch combo, stuff like that. So that was really cool. And I was getting into it, and I'm like, $50 easy. And as I was logging into my account to buy it, I was like, wrong password. I was like, I'll do it later. And
snapped out of it.
I ended up not buying it. And
yeah, that's how you gotta trick yourself. You gotta like do a password for an account and just like fuck up a letter. Just like don't look, just press a button so that like whenever you get to that point, it's like, what am I doing? And like question.
I have I don't use one password, so I have a lot of passwords. And I have somewhere it's saved, so I can look it up to find out what password I put in there. Oh. But I was like, I probably shouldn't be buying this. I'll wait to see if I still have this feeling, and it went away. So that's cool.
It's about to come back.
It'll come back. 2 devils.
Us.
Do it. What else did I do? I wanted to watch. The Harry Potter where to beasts and where to find them.
Have you seen
beasts.
The other one?
I've seen the first one.
Okay.
I haven't seen obviously the second one. I just didn't end up having time to do it. So that was that. That's it really. I haven't really done much.
Jay?
A little bit of streaming. Played some Pokemon and found out it was very casual.
Do you remember, did you play the original Yellow?
No.
No? What was the earliest Pokemon game you remember playing?
It was on a DS. Probably freaking
Crystal?
Diamond and Pearl.
Diamond Pearl? Okay. How did that feel when you played it? Casual?
No, I mean, it's casual. There's meta into it too, but there's casual / meta. There was like a deeper game into it.
Is it early on?
What do you mean?
That casual / meta? Like, would you be at that same casual / meta now in this game? Or is it end game?
End game is meta.
Okay.
I feel like.
So have you seen, I'm curious because I'm familiar with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what you've seen, is it telling you that doesn't exist?
No, like I was just watching YouTube videos and how to get like perfect IVs and how to get shinies, and it just seems very casual. Like the way I used to get perfect IVs, I would soft reset millions of times for certain Pokemon, like fucking millions.
Yeah.
So I just felt like it's very casual.
So that aspect I'm familiar enough with to know that I believe Sun and Moon, like each iteration of the gens, not necessarily remakes, but like Gen 5, 6, 7, whatever, they've just made it more accessible. Like IVs can start shifting, or you can control it much easier. And EVs, you don't need to go through as much tedious work to like put in those points in.
You just put these,
and it's not necessarily this specific game, but it's been a continuous progression, and this is like the latest, most accessible easy. I just that was my thing because I was like, oh, this game, there's things about it that are gonna be easier because they want people on the Switch to be like, come in. You played Pokemon Go, which is very simple, but then there's things that have been building because of the main series, and it's like trying to differentiate the two. So, how far are you in this one?
Got to the first gym, didn't fight the gym leader, but
Brock?
Spoilers, he's pretty easy.
yeah,
Brock?
I think so. Yeah.
The Wakanda Forever?
Yeah, he does this.
He does the pose.
My gripe, the thing is, like, Eevee and Pikachu, they have their voices, but the other Pokemon's all the old school electronic. Like, it should be at that point where everyone should
The
have
thing
their...
is, Eevee, that specific Eevee and that specific Pikachu are like, it's imagine like getting a pet at a rescue and getting it at like a pro breeder. I imagine that's how I've like rationalized it in my head is like this Pikachu has been like domesticated to the highest order. It's like been trained to like compete in like those like dog show sort of things, whereas like a wild Pikachu is just like
Do you see Pokemon as animals, not humans?
yeah.
Oh my god, furry.
I like the graphics are good. I think they've done a fucking good job with the graphics.
I'm sorry, like I meant to bring this up on mine. Since we're talking about Pokemon, did you guys see Donkey's videos?
I didn't realize there was two.
Yeah, so he
I
has a
watched
Pokemon.
one.
He has Pokemon Go Pikachu review and Pokemon Go Eevee review.
And I watched the Pikachu one, and then I go and tell my friends that also watched that game, like, did you guys see his video? He's like, yeah, he shit on it. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we watched the Eevee one. I'm like, oh shit, he did too. I gotta watch that one.
But I thought he shitted on the Pikachu one.
One of them. Well, I'm
Okay.
just.
So yeah, he shits on the Pikachu one. He's like, worst game, and he's never done this. At the end of it, he's like 0 out of 10. And then he has Pokemon Go Eevee, where he's like, dude, this is the best fucking game that's ever existed. 10 out of 10 at the end of
But
it.
the funny thing is, like, there's sarcastic. But like, I can't tell if it's sarcasm or if it. Now that I know that there's two ones,
Yeah.
when I watched it the first time, I thought he was just sarcastically saying how great this game was. But now seeing the two, he's like, you look at Octopath Chava, they barely have 8 characters fleshed out. This game has 151 characters, and there's a whole like lore and backstory to it. It's like this game is so complex and in depth. And the one he raves about it.
And then the one where he shits on it, it's like the exact same thing, but he says the opposite of everything. And I think he brings up Octopath Traveler in both.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Yeah, the graphic.
He's like,
So-
the graphics are shit, and that's what brought it up.
Are you going to stop playing, keep playing?
No, I'll keep playing.
Yeah.
I think I won't.
Casual.
I won't stream it.
Okay.
I want to get good.
I was talking to a few coworkers about it. Oh, did you have anything? I'll get to my stuff. Did you have anything else? Stream. You did some videos.
Red Dead Redemption. Oh fuck, that was a sloppy ass job.
Hey,
Went to
get it
DesignerCon.
out there, dude.
I know. I wanted to be. I'm like when you search for DesignerCon, I'm like the 4th or 5th video, and I'm like, that's what I need. Like
You do my view on this. This is from an outsider, like in terms of like expertise on what you're doing. It seems like you just get this out there, put it within some semblance of the vision you have, and then the more you do it, I feel like you'll get better at putting more within that same time frame.
yeah,
Um,
I need more.
I don't know.
More of that gun though. Yeah,
That-
we went to DesignerCon. Very interesting. I would go again. Dude, the amount of people there, perfect. That is what convention should
Vendor space to or like walk space to people ratio was like
be. Yeah.
perfect.
I want to go next year because there's an after party that's what I missed out on.
I just don't want it to go to LA. I just keep it in Anaheim.
Yes.
100% keep it in.
Well, it looks like it might. Well, I don't know.
Because I don't know, like they
Yeah.
don't seem like they have any loyal. They were in Pasadena the year before.
The thing is, their dates looks like it's on Thanksgiving weekend.
Next year,
Yeah, it's like the 23rd, 24th, 25th. So that's the only thing that's bad.
everything's on sale. Yeah, it's not gonna do well for artists.
Yeah, but I would go 10 out of 10 would go again.
This is the first year you've gone.
Yes.
What enticed you, or what brought it to your attention?
DJ Qbert was going to be there, and I don't know. I was just like, I was looking at hashtags, and I was like, dude, some of these figures look. I don't collect figures anymore. I don't have room for them. But I was looking at the figures. I was like, dude, these look fucking legit. I didn't buy anything except this beanie and
What you're wearing?
shirt.
What does the shirt say?
I took a good poop today.
Poopity
With
scoop.
little stars.
Poopity scoop.
And a dude that's like chilling after he took a good poop.
He's like,
And I don't usually
I should
get.
have got that for my brother.
I usually don't get impressed by stuff, but there was a couple things that kind of impressed me out there. So like, cause you've been to conventions, feel jaded. I feel jaded going to a comic convention. Like I've been here.
This
done
one really felt refreshing in the sense that there was a lot of original art versus, and it's partially because of what they're trying to cater to get their name out there. A lot of conventions that we go to, which are comic or video game, they tend to do just like, here's my rendition of Harley Quinn or my rendition of Star Wars. And this was like, we got a little bit of that, but our highlight is like what I love to make. And it's like some new idea. And I'm like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah, that scene is crazy though. Like, because it goes from like casual to like damn hardcore collectors. Like, this is $4,000. Like, I was like, fuck.
The amount of pins, I was like, pins are not like a niche thing. Like this place was, every fucking booth had a pin to sell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you're telling me we gotta go get a weekly DLC pin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
We got some art on the scene over there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it.
My street style art.
All of you guys has posted pictures about
Best
that.
DLC decided to Mississippi. Well, I mean, best podcast. Fuck. Best DLC.
Best DLC.
Best DLC. Weekly. Yeah, I went to DesignerCon. It was pretty fun. I kind of went on a whim. My friends were like, "Hey, we're going to this thing. Look into it. Let us know if you want to come." And it was like $20 for a Sunday ticket. I'm like, "Yeah, if I have nothing else, I'll go." I went. Jang was going to. I was like, "Okay, cool." Met some cool artists. I got like a bunch of Pikachu stuff. Like I got some Pikachu stickers. I was high on this whole Pokemon stuff. Like there's a Pikachu Totoro on there. On the back of it is some other Pikachu thing. Of the case, you can.
Oh, like no, I'm not gonna move the case.
And then I got some pins that are Pikachu, and a LaCroix. There was the LaCroix pin, and then
With Pikachu.
no, that one. Nothing. That's yeah. And then there's this Target exclusive Funko Pikachu that sold out. Like it was like it's done, and we were just like walking through aisles, walking. All of a sudden I see it, and I was like, "That's the fucking thing." And I'm like, maybe it's just on display. And I go down, I'm like, "Hey, is this on sale?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, how much is it? And it was like $5 more than retail. And I was like, can I buy it? He's like, yeah, I'm not holding it for anyone. Go for it. And I just paid him cash. I'm like, oh, fucking hightailed it out. Yeah.
Come on.
Took it out of the box. It's at my Pikachu shrine. I don't like this. The whole box shit thing. Like, I'm not into that.
So obviously, even the camera didn't show, but I just like had a deadpan face when he said I took it out of the box.
Yeah, whatever. So that was fun. I played a lot of Pokemon Go and Let's Go. I've been just like on both because they made an event in Pokemon Go that like excited people. They're like, "Oh, Let's Go just came out. Here's some cool stuff going on in Go." And I've been playing Go or Let's Go.
They got the map on the inside.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I just went all out, as you can see. I got a new case, Pikachu case. Got my Pokeball.
Yeah, dude, you can survive a bullet with this, dude.
Yeah. No one's getting to my fucking Pokemon save. My brother, I don't know if I told you guys about my save file. It's like a curse with me. Like all I would play on the Game Boy was Pokemon, like blue version, yellow version, and anytime my folks would be like, just let him just play like a little bit. Like he's just always over my shoulder watching, but he was little brother. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll let him play. And like this is after like much prodding. It's like share. I'm like, fine. Every fucking time I did that, he somehow found a way to drop it at the worst place, and the way he dropped it erased the save.
Oh.
And I was like, what? How? And it happened twice that way. There was a third time where I was like, just when you're done, just turn it off. Like anything you do won't save, just as long as you just turn it off. Like I didn't expect him to like go. And he somehow was like, I'm sorry, I like did stuff and then I started a new game and I saved. I was like, it's not like straightforward. It's like you have to go into a menu and hit yet and then to go from no to yes. I'm like, you had to have like God, like the demons possessed your body, like.
He's like, shit, I restarted it. No, I'm saving. No.
Yes. And he did that. And then later on the N64, I had two games. I had Donkey Kong and I had Pokemon Stadium, and he deleted saves on those. And those were even more like, how did you go out of your way to do this? So
easy. He bought a whole new
bulletproof
cartridge.
motherfucking case to prevent any of this.
You know, the safest bet, buy him his own Switch. Boom, easy, done.
He's getting one for
he,
Smash.
he can delete his own
He's done
damn
with
saves now.
Those were the hard. That was my struggle.
Bad luck, brother, dude.
Yes.
Saves, delete saves.
It taught me resilience. It's like, you really love this game? Play it again, motherfucker.
And it's funny too.
It's like
'cause
New Game Plus.
Your parents are always like, just let him play. You're like, you don't understand. You don't understand
No,
hours of
he's
play.
fucking with me. He's like, I did it by accident. He's like, he did that shit all the time. Nah, he's cool. So yeah, I've been playing like a lot of Let's Go, and I love, like, to me, like what I was getting at was, I love the same end game you're talking about, where it's just like, not to the point of IVs where you're breeding and crossbreeding. That's crazy. EV training I would do. I would look up strategies of like best move sets. I would get the moves I want on people.
Smogon?
Huh?
Smogon?
I was hundreds of tabs open. I'm like, I want this Pokemon. And I would be like, this combo team, perfect, all this stuff. I love it. And Diamond and Pearl was when I went crazy with it. And but I did do a lot of it in Red and Yellow when I was in high school. Like, me and my friend rebooted our Game Boys. And this is like, I want to get through that story to get to the point where me and like my coworkers with you, whoever has it, I want to just battle. Be like, all right, let's go. What's the parameters?
The rules.
Like, are we doing doubles? Are we doing singles? Are we drafting?
One sleep only.
Standard rules? Like, I'm into that.
KOs.
I was in fucking junior college, and there was like, I was totally getting into this, and I was like, oh, cool, a bunch of Pokemon players. And they had one rule. You can't switch out.
Which is stupid.
I was like,
That's just.
do you know what Pokemon is? Like, that's not how you play Pokemon.
That's the basic strategy. Is switching.
That's like you're taking chess and
Mind
like
games.
eliminating half the strategy. Like, yeah. And I was like, I don't want to play with you guys then. Peace. Anyway, so yeah. So I've been playing a lot of that. It's fun. The story, like, it's super easy, like you said, but it's like, for me, it's a nostalgia. I remember playing this game 20 years ago.
What's funny? So when I was playing it, and you know how like if it's small or large, it has sparks. I was like, oh, shiny! So my first, I was like,
You got a shiny?
No.
Oh.
They would have sparks because it's large.
Oh,
and
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
It's like I was like, oh shit, it's a fucking shiny.
Yeah.
Got
So-
winning.
watching streams. I didn't know what that was. I thought it was similar to Pokemon Go, like the app, where that's like weather, like they have boosted like stats or something like that because of the weather.
As soon as I saw it, that little aura around him, I thought of Monster Hunter, because you get crowns for large and
Right.
small, and every time it was red, it was like, this is huge, or if it's blue, it's
It's small.
tiny. And I was like, I got to get all the crowns. Like, I got to hunt. And I was like, no, wrong game. Wrong
He
game.
caught like one of every.
Whatever.
But the only problem is like because I want to catch a lot of things. Like you level up like crazy. And I feel like I'm OP right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just
That's
like,
why I'm
fuck
like,
that.
I went in expecting that. The one thing that threw me off, I first played docked, and I was using my Joy-Con, and then I was like, this is whatever, because it's just one Joy-Con. So the other Joy-Con's sitting on the thing, and I'm like, I can't like get my screenshot out because I want to take a screenshot. And then I was like, I'll use the Pokeball Plus. And I was like, I'll figure out how this works. It works pretty well. Like, it fits in your hand. I was just sitting on my desk, and I don't really have to do too much. But I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I decided to do handheld, best way to play it, 100%. Like,
Is that you don't have to do the motions with the hand?
so what you do that's completely different is you just, it's like it'll be here, and it's like ready to throw. And it's like Pokemon Go, where it's a circle, and all you're doing is catching. But the motion is going to be how you angle your switch, and that changes how you're angling your trajectory. And when you're ready, instead of doing this, you just press a button and it tosses, which to me is the difference maker. Like, I thought I was having to do this. I'm like, that's going to suck. But
oh shit down the stairs.
Let me live my life.
Superman down the stairs.
yeah, so that's been fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm excited. I got past Lavender Town. I got Snorlax. So
Mew.
I think,
Here's a question.
what's up?
Because I know you can have any Pokemon follow you. What if you get like those big ass legendaries that are huge?
So I know with Snorlax, when he follows you, you're on him. He walks.
Okay.
And when you get Rapidash out, it's like a bike. Like you're riding Rapidash around. So they have it where you can have every Pokemon out in some way, shape, or form.
But some of the later Pokemons are really big.
Onyx?
Bigger than that.
Who?
Dragonite.
Palkia.
I mean, they're not in this though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
They'll figure that out.
they're
then.
huge.
I think out of the 151, Onyx is the biggest.
Is the
now.
tallest.
Tallest, okay.
Yeah, biggest, tallest. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. So it works. It's worked so far. Yeah, huge. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's nostalgia.
So you're telling me I should get is what you're telling me.
If you don't like Pokemon,
I
it's
love
not-
Pokemon.
It's not like I'm like thinking of Octopath Traveler. I'm like the RPG mechanics are not the same. I'm just sitting there. I'm like Pikachu's a god, just fucking steamrolling through everyone.
There's one thing I don't like. Like, I like capturing old school style where you would lower the health till it's red.
Yeah, I don't like the way they've incorporated the go element of it, where there's no battling a wild Pokemon. You only battle trainers.
But you get XP from catching.
Everyone gets
And you're
XP.
catching
Yeah,
a
that's
lot.
everyone gets.
But
XP.
that's not new to this. The Sun and Moon and Ultra have had that too. They've just been making that like a thing, which again is me trying to like differentiate what's new to this and what's new to the franchise.
It makes it easier to level. Because I remember, like, when you played, like, all of the original Pokemon, like, there's a point where it's like the only way you're going to level your Pokemon is by fighting wild Pokemon. Like, you cannot fight trainers anymore.
I don't think that's the point of these. It's like trying to find rare Pokemon. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I want to get an encounter just to like find Magmar. And the cool thing is you can now see them in the wild. You're not just like running into random bushes. If I like run in a bush, I can avoid 8 Zubats.
And
if I see Mr. Mime, I can beeline to Mr. Mime and get to him. And like that to me is like a great quality of life that I love about it.
Would you get to him if you saw Detective Pikachu, Mr. Mime?
Yeah, enjoying it. Then the last thing I think I did. Well, 2 things. I saw Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. I like the movie overall. It furthers the story of Fantastic
5
Beasts.
movies.
Yeah, it's a 5-movie thing.
That doesn't sound like it was a good movie, though.
No, it's just got things that it makes you like. It's definitely been there's been a lot of points of conversation, good or bad, that I won't go into what was good or what was bad. But I think those things can't fully be like. It becomes a thing of like, going into this, it's part of a larger story. So how much can you criticize it for not answering certain things?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
it'll
Because
continue.
there's a ton of people on the internet just like trashing this movie because they're like, it doesn't like look at all these open plot holes. It's like, well, it could easily like if you look at a whole picture, in 10 years when all this is done, it's like that gets explained 3 movies from now, or 2 movies from now. But as a standalone movie, how does it stand? And I think that's just an innate like issue with franchise films like this.
Yeah,
maybe.
they know they're gonna last longer, so they leave things open for future movies.
This is also, I think, the second time J.K. Rowling's written a screenplay for directly instead of just like being an adaptation. She's not bad. Like she's definitely there's things I enjoyed more about it. Like they do flashbacks in this that I much preferred over how they handled flashbacks in the Potter films. Jude Law's great. The guy who plays Newt is great. Johnny Depp, I thought I was gonna hate. He wasn't bad as Grindelwald. I just knowing who that character was in the first one, I still would have preferred that character. But he wasn't bad.
In the Potter books, they talk about Albus and Grindelwald
Yeah.
being homies.
Yeah.
Is this when they're homies or this is when they're not?
This is when they're not.
Oh,
but
I wish they would go.
But
with
they at
go
least
back?
touch on
Okay.
they touch on that point in their lives. I won't say to what degree or in what level of detail, but it is addressed.
I feel like as they're fighting, like, you were my brother, and then he's like,
in
They're
Grindelwald.
not Anakin and Obi-Wan. I have the high ground.
I haven't seen Fantastic Beasts or this one. Grindelwald just wants to control humans. He's like Magneto, right?
So it's not. Think of Voldemort, just not as extreme.
Okay.
Like he is malicious, but I feel like Katie and I were talking about this, and this is one of the parts I enjoy. is the differences in how his evil is different from Voldemort's evil. Voldemort is just like eliminate, kill, fucking.
Yeah.
He's like, they have their place in the world. It's just not where it is right now. We should be the top people. We should be not in hiding. Like the way the government is doing it is set up in such a way where they're just constantly coming up. It's like one of our friends was bringing this up. It's like Grindelwald is catering to like guns activists. He's like, you should be allowed to carry in your wand and use as you see fit or whatever. And like the government's always like regulation. And these people are like, no, we're fucking sick and tired of this shit. And like he's leading, like that's I thought an interesting analogy to it. But his personality is like he's totally strong enough to take people on in combat. He really likes to win you over with speech. Like he's like maxed out speech and charisma. He's like, why fight you when I can persuade you to see things from my perspective? And I appreciated that, and I wanted more of that. I feel like the movie was one of the things where people were like, oh, it's whatever it is. It's like there's a lot of plots going on, and they come together, but it's a little bit everywhere, and you're like, this is like Game of Thrones, where I would normally have 10 episodes to enjoy a lot of this and it coming together, but like in a 2-hour movie.
And he has the Elder Wand?
Yeah. It shows it in the trailer, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what it looks like because I haven't seen the movies.
It looks like a piece of wood.
It's just like anal beads.
Is it the gun?
Yeah. Well, at DesignerCon, there was a really cool booth that had like legit feeling wands.
Yeah.
And it had everyone's wand. And I was like, I kind of want one of these.
So I don't know if that's if they did it like on their own, but there is a movie replica like catalog thing. I forget the name of the company that sells like all these things, and they have all the wands you could buy, and then they're like, if you buy 5 or more, we'll give you a free 5 wand case. That's normally $130, but you're buying all these wands for $250 anyways. So here you go.
Gotcha. This felt, I don't know the quality feel of those, but these felt like I've been to Universal, and I don't like how those feel in the hand.
Okay.
These felt like
they were weighed, like
there was a weight to them.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like one of them was like more wooden. And
one had unicorn hair.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I feel like I don't know why, but with small things, weight is a huge like
in the quality
difference in quality. Yeah, like if it weighs good, it feels better for some reason. It's weird.
Yeah,
but
it feels cheap or it feels not cheap
if it's light,
depending on like the weight. Yeah. So yeah, soft and dance piece. And then the last thing I'll say is I watched 2 wrestling things. I watched NXT's War Games, which is like their indie program, but they get a pay-per-view. And then I watched Survivor Series. And I wasn't originally too hyped for Survivor Series. There was 2 matches I was interested in, and both delivered. One was Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, which is a last-minute switch, but I was like, it still could be good. And fuck yes, it was good. It was damn good. And props to both of them. Like, I don't really like Ronda, but she did great. And Charlotte, who's the other one, she's Ric Flair's daughter, fucking killed it. Like, everyone else that faces Ronda, it's like when she's like the Brock Lesnar of the women's division. Anyone who faces her is already like at a disadvantage because they can't get to her intensity level. But Charlotte is like a foot taller than her and has the mass to back it up in terms of just like the look and demeanor. And within pro wrestling, they had a great match. It was just fucking intense. And the second one was Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. And they fucking got me. And they got everyone. Normally, a Brock Lesnar match goes one of 2 ways. It's fucking intense both ways, goes 5 minutes, it's over. Or it's 15 minutes of Brock just beating the shit out of someone, like button mashing his ultimate or super for like 50.
Just pin him.
Yeah. And it started, Daniel Bryan comes out, he had the cockiest fucking look, like, I got his number. I know how to beat him. Fucking instantly starts getting smashed. And I was like, all I want out of this, I don't care who wins. I just want Daniel Bryan to fight him because this has been his dream match. He's like, if there's one wrestler I could fight before I retire, it's him because I think we could put on a great match. And I'm like, I'm waiting for it. And I'm like, but what if Brock's not into that and he just wants to smash him because they would do that. And for 15 minutes, he's beating the shit out of Brandon. I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
One of those.
And then out of nowhere, they turn it. Like right when you stop caring, they turned the match around, and Daniel Bryan, he like leading up to this, he's been a great guy, like a good guy. He did something to win the title to face Brock, which was totally, he kicked a guy in the balls, and he's like, oh, is he going bad? And you're like, yeah, he's going bad. And I think that mentality allowed for his character to do what he did in this match, because he started fighting dirty against Brock. He like kicked him as hard as he fucking could in the nads, and then he started doing just like, I'm gonna fuck your knee up, I'm gonna fuck your face. Like he grabs his arms and just bashes his head while he's pulling his arms up, and you could see his footprint on Brock's face, because Brock fights stiff, and Daniel Bryan fights stiff if he wants to, and he fucking did. And you could tell, like, when Brock lets you do, it's essentially like Brock allowing the company to do that, where he's like, I respect this wrestler enough to get this physical with them.
Dana White was like,
and then just Daniel just like, he's teeing off on him. He's fucking his leg up to the point where Brock gets him. He's like, I'm going to throw you, but his leg gives out, and he's all this shit. And there was it just kept building. And you're like, oh, Brock, this is where Daniel loses it. And then he doesn't lose it, and he keeps going. And you're like, I haven't been invested in a match like this. And then it ends and Brock wins, but I was like, they fucking, and Daniel Bryan, like when he lost, he like slowly rolls over like a minute later, and Brock's like halfway up, and he's just smiling at Brock. He's like, fucking got you. You thought you had this easy. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but this match was like fucking good. So anyway, all right, that's been enough of that. Spent a lot of time on that. Let's get into the topics.
Who's going first?
I'll go
who's
first.
on first?
I'll go first. We had
Who's
news
on
from
third?
last week. Guys, it's fucking late.
Who's on
It's
first?
Monday.
It's Monday. It's
I've
fucking
I've
late.
talked enough already because of my stupid.
Hey, you got water. I
know. So my topic: E3. Sony pulled out, and it wasn't safe.
No condom use.
Yeah, they're not going to be at E3 this year, which was huge news. It's the first time in I think 24 years.
They're also not going to have a PlayStation experience.
Which that was earlier this year, like a month or two ago. They were like, "Hey, you can change your PSN names. By the way, we're not at PSX."
At what cost?
Excuse me. So they're not going to be at PSX this year. They're not going to be at E3 next year, which is huge because they've always been there. They're one of the better presentations or showcases, and it's like, what do you guys think they're gonna do? What do you think they're not gonna do? And one of the other questions, which is like, that's a huge space that's a void within E3. What do you think this does for E3 and the people at E3? Like everything impacted by this. What do you think?
So there's speculation that I think it'll affect E3 in a very negative manner because it's one of obviously three big
The three big
leading
developers.
industry developer, that's not going to be there. It's gonna hurt E3 like crazy, and I have to go along with that speculation as well. Like they're a big part. Like they're a big section of when they give the stage to these different developers, game companies, and with Sony not having that, like I think it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot.
What do you think they're gonna do? If you have any guess.
I feel like PlayStation can't go without doing something. So I feel like they do have to do an event, and the only thing I can think of is they can do something similar to what Nintendo does, where they do their own like live stream of an event that they're gonna like. This is what we're doing. This is what we're planning. Here's all this stuff, and it can be more refined because that always looks really good on Nintendo. Like there's never those dull moments or like those awkward moments where like translation gets messed up or the guy doesn't know what to say or no one claps. So he's like, "Am I done now?" Or it just works out better. And I think that they're probably planning to announce something that they don't want to mess up on, possibly.
I think they're going to go in the route of Nintendo because Nintendo does perfectly fine. They do mini E3 directs.
So you're
all
saying
the
online
time.
only?
Online only, but I don't think they're going to do it as frequent as Nintendo. I think there's going to be a one-time thing. But actually, in my honest opinion, I think they're going to have an event like PlayStation Experience before E3. They said there won't be a PlayStation Experience this year, but I feel like 2019, before E3, they kind of want to probably do it a month before, like an event, steal the shine out of E3, do their own version of E3, PlayStation experience style.
That's interesting. I've been thinking about like they would probably do something, but just after E3.
Oh.
I hadn't thought about before E3. That would be an interesting way. I just don't know. Like, the thing is, they gave a statement saying we don't believe we have enough to show at this time, and I think between now and before E3 that's even less time than they would have had than E3. So it's like, why would they go before E3? That's the only reason I eliminated that. I like the idea of the direct. The thing is, they've confidently done not what Microsoft does, where you're like someone comes out and talks and does the awkward stuff. They've been doing it at least the last 2-3 years where it's showcase. It's like you're watching a performance and segueing into another performance. It's like watching theater to some degree. And they do it so well that I'm like, maybe what they do is they hold off. They get the presentations that they want of the gameplay, the cinematics, or whatever they want ready at whatever milestones they need them at. And then they present these performances and showcases at a theater, sort of like PSX did. And maybe I don't know if it'll be at PSX or right before PSX, like a separate thing. And they'll do some sort of like, come here. Here's your like tickets will go on sale and people will be clamoring to go to be there live. They'll do the online thing of the showcase, sort of like a Oscars maybe. That's my guess, is that they do something. But I think late 2019 is what I'm expecting. If I don't see anything even late 2019, then I'm like, damn, they're really like just holding out to like the last fucking. Because I really feel 2020 we should be getting like a PS5 news or something.
I think they're going to announce a PS5. To be honest, at this whatever thing they're planning.
And with that, I'm like, okay, they have games that they've teased, like Last of Us 2, Death Stranding. I think they're going to do something along the lines of like, you can play it on your PS4, PS4 Pro, your PS5. These will be essentially launch games, like whatever up-resed, it's going to match that and work. It's going to be like that line of like, what do they call it? Backwards compatibility is going to start becoming more blurred. Of like how Xbox does it, like Xbox One X, you can play all these other ones, you can do backwards. I think whatever comes next is going to be like, everything you already have will work on this console, so you won't be like, you have nothing.
This is like a whole nother topic, but what if they go the route the Xbox is going, or discless? Microsoft's making a discless.
That's like an option though that they're doing. It's not like they're only. They're exploring a lot of really cool stuff. The discless, you're right, is really interesting. I think that could be like a tier. Like here, so it'll be like they're slim maybe. Another thing they're exploring is streaming, so you can just play on your phone, and like Chrome is doing the same thing as Xbox. So like seeing them explore that market, I think I'm more interested. Like it's like too far ahead to think about the PlayStation. I'm more interested personally in like whose else is remaining. How are they going to take advantage of that time and space and market share that is E3? Like I don't think E3 is going to be at a loss, like what you were saying, Vargas, where it's like it's going to go down. It's like people. There've been signs of it going away. Of like Microsoft's going to do their own thing, but they said right after this news happened, they're like, "Hey, we'll see you guys at E3." I'm like. Balls in your court, like you guys.
They can't fuck it up. I don't worry about Nintendo. Like
Nintendo just does their own fucking thing. Yeah, they got new Pokemon coming out next year. They have Animal Crossing coming out next year. They have Metroid potentially coming out. I'm like, that alone, I think is going to be enough to just be like, chill.
Nintendo direct,
Huh?
3-minute direct.
Yeah.
Nintendo beats to their own drum and they succeed pretty much every time.
What I do think is like Xbox could take advantage of this in the sense that like they've already done some partnerships with Nintendo before. What if they lean hard into that and be like, we're all united against like
they got Obsidian.
Yeah. Well, I mean in the sense that like united like, hey, we can cross-platform play Minecraft with Nintendos. We can play Fortnite with Nintendo. And then Sony followed suit, but like Microsoft won good favor with that. Nintendo just was like, this is great for us. We were doing great. We're going to do even better now. Yeah. I wonder if they'll lean harder in that sense, like consumer-friendly stuff. I'm thinking of like also Devolver has been like expanding more and more. They've been doing all the indie stuff. I wonder if they'll take more share or maybe we'll see like not hardware developers, but like the Ubisofts, the Activisions, taking up a bigger space because now they used to do stuff at Sony's booth. Like Capcom used to do stuff at Sony's thing like Monster Hunter World or Resident Evil. I wonder if Capcom will now have like a presentation time. They have enough stuff in their catalog. I don't know. Do you have any like final thoughts?
A really good route would be what Nintendo does. Like they beat to their own drum, and I think PlayStation doing that would help them a lot. With you talking about them saying that they don't have enough to present that they feel like they're comfortable with showing, it's possible that they have certain games they want to show that aren't going to be prepared for the event. So then I still think that like essentially that Sony Direct would be a plausible thing for them.
That'd be
to
an
show
interesting
stuff.
thing for them to try.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy. I don't know how successful it was for them. I really do enjoy the performance stuff, like when they had leaves when Monster Hunter World came out, or when they had like Journey style stuff happening, and they had all this, or Sand Out, and it was like Last of Us Uncharted.
Yeah.
That to me was cool. I think last year's was a little weird because they did it on separate stages. They're like, and we're preparing the Last of Us Church, and then we're gonna prepare the Ghost of Tsushima or one of the other ones. Like I was like, should have just all done it at once. I don't know. But, okay, that's it for me.
Cool. I can go next.
Okay.
Mine was, in your guys' opinion, what do you feel is weighed more when creating a game? And that's, dedication? What was my hard work or
Creativity.
Or creativity. I don't even remember my
Or
question.
memory.
Or memory. What
Random
three?
access memory.
No, so when it comes to a game,
Insert memory card.
what do you guys weigh more? Do you think it's creativity or hard work when it comes to making a game?
As a customer?
Yeah,
Consumer?
as a consumer, yeah.
It's tough. I think they're both necessary. I would treat it like the brain is the creativity, and the heart of the company is like the diligence and the hard work.
But when it comes to like, what do you feel adds more oomph to the game?
Well, game can be super creative, but if they're not work hard enough, like it either never comes out or they don't work out the kinks. If they are super hard workers, but it's a generic ass game, then I'm like, what? Why would I even want to play
What's
this?
what's the guy that did Fable?
I don't know. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
The guy who like
Peter Molyneux?
Yeah.
Peter. Yeah, okay. What did he say?
Well, no. Like he did it was a PC game called like Godex or Godus or something like that, and it like it never finished. He like was like, I'm done, I quit, and it was just done. And it was like, I think it was a Kickstarter game or something like that. He had received money before, and like he just got a lot of shit for it, and now I don't see that guy as like a
Like the way I see it, it's like if you have a great idea but you're not willing to act on it, then everyone's got those. But everyone works hard, but if they work aimlessly, then you're working yourself in circles.
right.
So I guess if okay, let's say you have 100% gauge and you could do 50-50, but you would need, if you could choose one to have like 60-40, I would probably go creativity
60.
more. I don't know what percentage more, but I think that would give you more of an edge in terms of originality, because yeah, I think that would keep within the gaming industry. I think it's about what keeps it fresh or keeps it interesting, and I think that's where the creativity would come.
I agree with you. Like in a like if I'm looking at like 100% thing, I would gauge creativity higher than I would at hard work.
Okay, here's another example to like try to visualize like how. Let's say you had a game that's super, like the idea of the gameplay. Like I'm trying to think of like a game that had like a really cool. What's a game that had like a really interesting mechanic or something that you guys could
The
think
Messenger.
Okay, take that. But let's say every level had at least 4 glitches in it or bugs. Like they let's
Game
say,
crashing or minor?
like it would impede your enjoyment.
Like when you went in the water and you stopped swimming, but you were still moving.
Oh, that's minor.
But that's one. I'm saying, what if there were several different
Like each level had a few different glitches.
As long as it's not game crashing, I'm okay with it.
Really?
Let's go.
I mean, because I know what you're saying. Like, it does hinder my enjoyment of the game because then it throws me out of this.
Yeah. I
this
feel like
zone
that's
that I'm
like
going
something
in.
that like Fallout 76 has been dealing with right now with a lot of social media and news, is that it's fairly generic in the sense that they haven't really updated visually or mechanically, and there's still tons of bugs. They did a really interesting new idea where it's like, here, let's take Fallout, but let's make it like mixed with other people and open world. But like people are crashing and bugs and all this stuff, and it's like,
See, that's game crashing though.
that's distracting from the experience.
Game crashing I would not like. Minor.
But I don't think it is game crash. I think it's just like like an NPC character model is like flipping upside down. That's not game crashing.
No.
There's a variety. There are game crashing ones where like so they said they had dedicated servers. Supposedly people have scoured and they're finding that it's not dedicated servers. They're actually open servers. So people like, if you're playing in a server and someone decides to hack that server, they can see the IP address of every single person playing that server, which is not good. Servers are crashing. There's like there's characters that are just like frozen and they're not doing anything. There's characters that are invisible, but like when you go over with your reticle, you can see them. But I feel like Fallout's a hard one to gauge because it's speculation. I've heard that they're using the same engine, but not because obviously like it's just easier, but they're using it because they can import all the assets they've had before with every different Fallout, and then all they have to do is add the microtransactions.
Right,
so
right.
I'm making money.
I meant
for
more just in the sense that like they've worked hard on this game and they had a new idea, but it's got a bunch of glitches. Like that was just trying to get at the glitches,
Right.
not necessarily like what engine they use.
But PR wise, they've said that they've had the most people working on this game they've ever had before. So I can't say that they didn't have the hard work in that sense.
Okay, let me give another
It's
example.
speculation. I know what you're saying.
Destiny. I'll say Destiny. Every other Gambit match, I have a connection error, I have a weasel error, I have some fucking error going on, but I still come back to it because I like the way the gameplay loop is and how satisfying the gameplay is and the way the guns feel, and I feel like that's on the creativity of it. So I feel like I'm subconsciously saying I prefer creativity over the hard work if I had to edge one out. So again, reiterating what I said. Jang, did you ever give?
Creativity over hard work every day. I don't like games that are very predictable and use like the same fucking tricks. So I prefer creativity over hard work. But what I feel like is a lot of indie games have a good equal balance of both creativity and hard work.
I think they hone in on like a single. They're like, let's focus on this like mechanic.
So again, I would gauge creativity a little more than I would hard work, but I feel like the examples you're giving, I wouldn't necessarily say the issues like these glitches or like these server issues are linked to not having enough hard work.
Okay.
It
I
could
don't
be.
know. I was trying to make an example.
So like,
In my head, the way I'm equating it is if they worked like the hardest fucking possible, the game would run smooth as fuck. But I know that's not 100% equated because it might take creative problem solving to solve these problems.
But not only that, like
You
could still work very hard, but these issues would arise because it's just compatibility issues or something. Like it's something unforeseen.
Yeah, I don't.
Regardless, but the way I would visualize it is a game that is like a AAA game where like you're going to see the graphics for it, you're going to see like the story for it. So like Red Dead, where they put a lot of hard work into the way the game looks, but they did a really bad job in the way the game plays, because that's where creativity usually lies on, is how you play a game, like the thought they put into having to reload the gun and having to do all these different things. But then you would look at like indie games where like the creativity is there, but the hard work in graphics wise, I wouldn't say is there, because it's using sprites. But
I don't know if that example works either, because it's like that's not hard work. That's just focus. It's like their focus isn't visuals. Their focus is something else.
But I could say that
So I don't know if any of these are good.
They're outweighing. They're putting more into creativity than they are hard work. Again,
No,
yeah,
I don't think
hard.
this-
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
None of we're not good at metaphors.
um.
You still go. I think we're all on the creativity side.
Yeah, but it's.
Okay.
I would flip, to be honest with you.
Just because we went creativity.
Well, no, I would I would flip like back and forth between creativity and hard work, depending on what I'm looking at.
I think it's hard to gauge. Like
It
just
is.
hard work.
Yeah, I don't think like it's a straightforward answer. You can't just be like it's always 100%.
Why'd you fucking do this to us?
I like to have conversations
I
where
like
we
it
argue
too. I like it.
and I yell at you all the time.
I know.
It's really fun.
It really. I cry when I finish these episodes.
Good.
I'm like, I hope he uploads the video so I can edit
The gun,
the gun.
the penis gun.
That designer gun. For people
That's
to
gonna
know.
be
Okay. Last,
of
but
us.
certainly.
So
Certainly least.
Stanley passed away last week.
Rest
Rest in
in
peace. So when he passed away, YouTube was like recommending all these like Stanley videos, and I saw an interview with Conan O'Brien, and Stanley was pitching Marvel versus DC, which was a 4-issue event back in the day. And the way they there were certain matches that were preset, and voters can call in to see who would win. So it was by popularity.
It's like Jason Todd.
Exactly. So
Can you imagine? That should be a topic. If a thing like that worked today for like a story, like imagine like should Joffrey die? Vote call in.
and the thing is, dude, this was super gimmicky because like the thing was like whoever won, DC or Marvel, the other company had to like stop making comic books.
What?
That was the thing. You don't remember? That was the thing. Like whoever lost, they weren't going to publish anymore, which was a gimmick.
Oh yeah.
Huge gimmick.
Yeah.
So
Clickbait.
there was 11 battles.
I forgot to talk about something too. Yeah.
What's
yeah.
up?
Go for it. No, go for it. It's just a small story.
There's 11 battles,
Okay.
and then
We're
we're
gonna
going to go through
argue?
each one
Okay.
and see which one.
Easy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeeze. Some of them, I can't believe
The
the voters.
outcome.
Yeah. So the first one is there's a movie coming up next month. DC
Samurai 7.
Jason Momoa.
Aquaman versus Namor, Submariner.
Which Aquaman is it? Is it the hook arm or is he both arms?
It's probably both arms. This is like
Hook arm to me is the most OP. I don't know. Something about that version made him like the ultimate badass. Both okay.
So, but double hook arms is not
No. They would never go that far. Never go full hook arm. I don't know. I give Namor because he's got wings on his feet,
okay.
and so not only can he be on land, he can be in the water, but he can fly. And I think that gives him super air superiority.
I feel like this is really bad. I don't even know who the hell Submariner is.
He's Marvel's Aquaman at the
He
most
loved,
basic level.
Mrs.
He's very much his personality is very much like Vegeta. He feels superior.
I would say, just knowing that, I would want to choose Aquaman as opposed to Submariner.
What? Fuck it, man.
Because Goku's
Vegeta.
always better than Vegeta.
No. Vegeta always
Aquaman's
lets-
always better than Submariner. Dude.
I'm gonna go Namor.
I just going by favorite and who I know, Aquaman.
I'll go by Aquaman. I didn't know who won this fight, so this is how I won. Aquaman wins by summoning a whale to leap out of the water and land on Namor. Since Namor is pinned and unable to move, he's declared the loser.
Fair.
Wait,
I
so
would say-
do you know who came up with like these wins?
There was
like no.
the
How a win happened? Like
It was
say-
the creative artist.
Okay.
I mean, you vote the winner. The creative team would.
Figures out.
figure.
How to make it
Okay,
happen.
okay.
Okay, I would be able to see, I guess, Aquaman winning because I feel like he's more level-headed than Namor. Namor, like Vegeta, gets very much emotional. Very emotional, not very much, very emotional. And I think that would get the better of him.
Thank you.
Battle number 2: Elektra versus Catwoman.
Elektra. But fuck, cats have 9 lives.
I know. I only know Elektra through
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, through the movie.
Not even no, I was
the
about
old
to say
Daredevil.
Daredevil season 2, but
and in that movie she was
Evanescence. Wake me up.
wake me up inside.
The Daredevil.
And I know
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
I know Catwoman way more. I would have choose Catwoman in this one.
So I would have chose Catwoman, but Elektra won the popular vote.
How'd she win?
She cut off Catwoman's whip as she hung from a building. Under construction, Catwoman survived by falling into a dumpster filled with sand.
Like a bitch.
So she just got trapped in the sand.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a kitty litter.
Battle number 3.
Oh my God.
Flash versus Quicksilver.
Flash. Easy.
What is
It's the same.
like exactly the same?
No,
I'm assuming one
I
moves
feel like
faster than the
I
other.
think Flash is fast.
I think because of the stories, we've seen Flash do more, and that's the reason I give him because I know he's done certain things.
I would choose Flash just because I know he can run fast enough to go back in time.
Plus, Quicksilver tends to be more arrogant. He also gets very like emotional. Like if you fuck with his
But
sister,
he saves people. He runs in front of bullets to save people.
that's in the movie.
He does it though.
Okay.
So Flash win. It just says Flash wins using superior speed.
Exactly.
He's
That's
faster.
Next battle: Robin versus Jubilee.
So Jubilee had the fireworks?
Which Robin? Which Robin?
It's not Damien for sure. This is like old.
I know. So I'm thinking
I would
Dick or
choose-
Jason.
It's probably
I don't think it's
Jason.
I don't think it's
Dick Gunn.
no. Who's after Jason? Dick, Jason.
Jeremy.
Ron
Wilson.
Jeremy as Robin.
No, who was he? Fuck, I forgot. I'm blanking. Anyway, I think it's Dick or Jason.
I
If
would
it's-
choose Jubilee.
If it's Dick, I give it to.
What is Jubilee? She just throws fireworks.
I know, but she's a kid, and I think Dick Grayson is more adult to like figure out how to combat this. I don't think Jason Todd is. I think Jason Todd gets cocky, fucks up. I'm gonna go Robin if it's Dick.
I'm assuming I'm going with Jubilee. I assume the fans chose Robin.
Yeah. So
It's
I
also
would have
the
picked
people's choice. yeah.
I would have picked Robin, but Robin won by using his cape as a decoy and then tying up Jubilee.
That's classic Dick.
Dick move.
Got it.
The next, dude, this one's a good one. Silver Surfer versus Green Lantern.
Silver.
This is
Surfer.
probably Kyle too.
Silver Surfer.
I have to go with Green Lantern because he was like growing up. That's the guy I liked watching.
Okay.
I picked Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer won when both collided with each other and released a huge explosion, which knocked out Green Lantern but left Silver Surfer unfazed.
He's a cosmic entity.
Ooh, this one's a good one. Thor versus Captain Marvel Shazam.
Fuck.
Thor versus Shazam.
Fuck.
This is a good one.
And Shazam is essentially a kid that can.
He says Shazam. He becomes like eight different powers in a god. He has like the speed
In
of
one
Mercury, the strength
in
of
one
Mars,
person.
the strength
Okay.
of Jupiter, some shit.
Um,
He's Captain Planet.
I guess in that sense, like.
But you don't forget the popular thing. You brought it up with the dick.
Right,
thing.
right.
Chris
I mean,
Hemsworth
each situation's different.
versus Zach Levy.
Ragnarok, Chris Hemsworth. Because yeah.
I would have to go with Chris or Levy.
What? Oh,
Shazam.
Shazam.
He's got every like. I mean, he has 8 different powers.
I'm going Thor.
Well, I would have went with Thor in Thor 1 when Captain Marvel was forced to change back to his
Into the
alter
mic.
ego, Billy. Billy tried to change back, but Thor used Mjolnir to intercept the lightning bolt that would have transformed him back to normal. The resulting impact knocked Billy out and sent Thor's hammer flying off.
So I have to say,
Wait, when you read, can you just make sure to reading to the mic?
Yes.
Because you're like off to the side. Of
Okay.
It's muffled.
So can Shazam like lose enough power to where he returns back to, or like get beat up enough?
It's just when he says Shazam again.
So you could beat him to near death and he wouldn't change back into a kid.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, you could figure out ways to get him to say Shazam.
So that situation's fucking stupid.
We're
a lot
dealing
of-
with fiction
I
here.
know.
Yeah. The next one, this is the one I know when I was reading as a kid, and I didn't like Superman versus Hulk. I mean, the popular vote, you know who's gonna win.
Superman. But I would go with the Hulk.
I go for Hulk, but I think Superman wins.
This is a situational fight. Like, if Superman were to throw Hulk into space, I would feel like Superman would win. But if this was just a straight-on brawl, Hulk is stronger than Superman. Without, that's my opinion. But after exchanging punches in a burst of heat vision, Superman wins eventually.
Eventually.
All right, next up, Superman versus Goku. Let's go through all
Saitama.
all the.
The next fight, Spider-Man versus Superboy.
I think Superboy.
Yeah.
Comparing powers, it's just Superboy.
Yeah.
I would choose Superboy, but Spider-Man is obviously the most popular.
Motherfucker.
With the advantage of his spider sense, Spider-Man wins by tying up Superboy with impact webbing and electrocuting him with high voltage.
I don't feel like that would work.
I feel like the writers were like, "Why the fuck do we make this work?" They voted for him. I don't know. You tell me.
got him fucking kryptonite. I mean, that's a simpler fucking solution.
So there's 3 more left.
Okay.
And one of them was Batman.
Yep. And that's the one that we're
We're on
Batman
versus Mechagodzilla.
versus who from Marvel?
Captain America.
Yes.
Batman.
I would say Captain America. I know the popular vote is easily Batman, but Captain America.
No, I still think, regardless of that, Batman would win.
You're
He's
wrong.
beaten Superman.
Doesn't matter, you're wrong.
Okay.
I think Batman would win.
Real quick, I think Batman wins against Superman because it's taken him time to learn his weaknesses, and it's not like if he fights him out of the blue, he would have never won. And so I feel like with Captain America, he would, in this situation, he would fight him out of the blue.
We don't know what the
He
situation
wouldn't know
is.
his,
You're setting up a random
the
situation.
situations are dumb.
The situation, they're waiting at the phones. Like, who's the winner?
Okay. The match ends in
Wait. Oh, okay.
We know it's Batman. We just know.
uncertainty.
Yeah.
Though both are evenly matched after hours of combat, a sudden flushing of the sewer knocks Cap off balance as Batman manages to strike him with a battering. Batman rescues Cap from certain death via drowning, but Cap's unconsciousness from nearly drowning causes him to lose.
Like a bitch.
Like a
Dumbass
bitch.
situational.
So this is the one that pisses me off the most. This is one I saw. I read Wolverine versus Lobo.
Lobo, definitely. He's a cosmic bounty hunter.
Lobo would beat his ass up and down the street, but
100%.
since it's a popularity vote,
Fucking snake
Wolverine
jerk.
beats Lobo in a brutal bar fight, which was largely off panel. And then the last one.
They got lazy on that one. They're just like, it happened.
It can't happen. How do we do it?
I mean, this one, I think it's kind of one-sided, but Storm versus Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Storm,
I agree.
A lightning bolt. And then
There's
Shazam.
better female fighters and, I mean, stronger, I should say. Like, more up to Wonder Woman's level.
So I would pick Wonder Woman. Before this fight, Wonder Woman actually picked up Thor's hammer. Just to put it into context.
And used it?
Yeah. After Diana drops Thor's hammer in order to allow the fight to happen as it was intended, Storm wins the battle after repeatedly hitting Diana with her lightning after a brief melee encounter.
Easy. Easy, guys. Easy. I called it, too. I said lightning would hit her. I called it.
What?
But after this whole DC versus Marvel, they did Amalgam Comics. Have you heard of that? So they
No.
took the worlds collide. So what they did with Batman, they put Batman and Wolverine together and made Darkclaw, and they put Sabretooth and Joker together and called them Hyena. They did. That was some real
They're
stuff.
like, these writers are so amazing. Let's just fucking let them run with it.
So,
Dropping whales on fools.
but who really won? Marvel and DC's
No one.
pocketbooks.
Yeah, their money. Do you think we'll ever get to a point where they do something like
An official.
on that level? Because
Imagine if they did that movie-wise.
I don't know if we'll get that movie. Okay, because Disney's on a trajectory to buy everything. Let's say they buy DC.
And Marvel. Oh, no, wait, they already own
They own Marvel.
Sorry.
I think we'll see it on the small screen before we see it on the big screen. Like like the first contact will be some TV show thing. It'll be like
I think we'll see it on paper before we see it on a small screen.
we already saw it on paper.
Real paper. That's a digital paper.
What, a novelization?
I
A
think
script. That's what you're saying, a script.
I think there'll be like these are official comic books, right? Like
They're official.
Yeah.
Like a referee.
This is
Stanley
Marvel
was-
and
I give
DC
up.
coming together.
I give up. I want to stop doing this podcast right now.
You need to work harder and be a little more creative. So that we can get press passes to E3.
I thought they just wrote simple like situations
No,
for
this
how
is
to
like
win.
This
So
is
they
an actual
made like
comic.
a whole entire thing, and they just
And one company was going to lose their publishing, which never happened.
They should have done something where it's like their team would buy breakfast for the other team. Like that would have been a cool, like, competitive spirit. I wonder if they'd let them do that now. I don't think they would.
I wish we could have like Creative Commons and just like rewrite certain things the way we
That's
want
what
to.
this podcast is about.
Fan
right?
fiction,
You can.
That's what I
If you
do
want.
with Pokemon.
furries.
And then Eevee and Pikachu.
Tonight,
Me.
Bring out the
Spaghetti,
gun.
no.
We'll bring out the gun.
That's what you named your Pikachu, Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. No, I named him Peekabra.
What
But
you-
you can
who-
change the names.
Who'd you name the rival?
My brother.
This
But-
for all the save games.
But he's not.
Delete
This
saves.
the difference is, Gary is not your rival. Gary
Right.
exists. He's like around, and he's saying, "Hey, you two, you talk to my." So, this is like it's red and or yellow, but it's after yellow, and you and this rival. He's not a rival. He's like a motivator. Like I want to try and be on the same level as you. It's like, oh, dude, you're doing great. Like I want to like I'm already went ahead. I've just given you a pro tip, and he's like giving you help. So it's like more of like a friendly. Like you're going in the friendly.
But
But
do you still fight him?
yeah, you still compete. Like I want to see how I am. Like let's test our
And
strength.
you just destroy
I
him.
fucking annihilate him. But it's still like, hey, cool. Here's my money. Good fighting you, dude. Like it's so great.
I want to see someone that loses to these fights, because I feel like with the catching, like every Pokemon levels, it's a lot more difficult to be shittier.
Yeah.
Well, there's hard mode. You were talking about it.
What?
Playing the game.
Oh,
like,
so people. The two things I was talking about for streaming.
Permadeath.
Oh,
ooh,
excuse
ooh,
me.
Ooh, wow,
One
wow.
fate.
Wow.
Wow. There's two things I've seen a lot of streamers do in the Pokemon world that like that's how they get viewers. One of them is shiny hunting, where they just grind for shinies, which is to me like mind numbing. And then the other thing is Nuzlocke challenge. Are you familiar with that?
So I was watching a guy who talked about doing this, and it's essentially if a Pokemon faints, you have to give it away to put perfect stroke. So you lose this Pokemon, and you can never capture that Pokemon again. So like completely gone from your roster. And and you can only attempt to catch Pokemon once. So if you toss a fucking Pokeball and miss, you have to run away
That
and never
sucks.
try to catch that guy again.
The
Hard
Nuzlocke
mode.
challenge. People started doing it with Pokemon Ruby. He decided to play with two rules the first time it was done. Only the first Pokemon encountered on each route can be captured, and if a Pokemon reaches 0 HP, it has died and must be released. And more rules have been added to it where it's like you could do wonder trades, and you just randomly send something out for online trade, and you get something randomly. And he's like, whatever you get with then is your starter, and you have to go from there. And so like those are the two things I've seen people do that make difficulty out of the base game, not like the end game. But yeah, I just want to say one last thing before we cut the show. I had a near-death experience.
Or you almost became something.
I almost became Spider-Man.
Black Widow.
Yeah,
You almost
ScarJo, watch out! I almost recast you. Our garage had a Black Widow in it. It was pretty large, or decent size, I should say. And like we thought we cleared it. We got like a broom, and like it hid in the garage, like on the door, on the inside. And like I fucking cleared that whole place. I was like, it's gone. 2 days later, I opened the garage and it's right back where it fucking was. I was like, this motherfucker. And I was like ready to go work.
You opened the garage, 2 fumigating cans.
All my shit just fucking. No, so like last time I was like, man, okay, I'll just clear it out. We'll see what happens. This time I was like, no, one of us is gonna go. So I got my tote bag. It was like folded up, and I just put it over my fist. And I just punched. I punched the. And I just.
Flames.
I did a little like grind at the end. And then I brought off.
It would have been funny grinding. It's like,
It's the mosquito chick in one punch. You just slap this shit.
or you killed it and then the babies come out.
Don't fucking freak me out. I'm not gonna sleep.
Have you
tonight.
seen that GIF?
Which gift?
A guy stomps, or no, he smashes a spider with a broom, and then just like baby spider just run out everywhere.
No, I don't like that. Anyway, yeah, that was my clickbait near death.
And this is what we're gonna end on.
Yeah.
Baby spiders.
Oh, speaking of that cartoon, in the War Games, the NXT, they have this matchup where it was like 2 teams of 4 in 2 rings connected with a cage. And it's like a fucking brawl. Like it's full. It's war. It's what it is. And they do a point where they get 4. They regroup on this side. They regroup on this side. They just slowly enter towards the center, and then they face off. And someone pointed out like this is the exact thing out of the X-Men intro, where they're just coming at each other. Like they recreated it in wrestling. Wrestling is amazing.
They knew.
Guys, where can they find you guys?
They can find me at the Fulio365 on Instagram and in the Fulio everywhere else.
At The Last Boss is everywhere.
At Kujo Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. We hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Have had a happy Thanksgiving. Ready for the holidays coming up now. We're almost in full Christmas swing. So yeah, check out. Please enjoy everything we've got. We're on episode 94. 100's coming up.
Yeah, so we got to finish Stranger Things too, dude.
You do?
For episode 100.
Wait.
A review.
Nani? Until next time, I guess we'll...
DLC.
You later.
Nani?